record. Alrighty, we are recording. So let me go ahead and click share screen. Yes. Okay. Do you guys see the pathogenic protists thing or no? Or do you see like maybe I click off of this one? Hold on. Why is it on that one? Share screen.
Are we gonna all start like on the first one and say like our names and stuff?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so this is Pathogenic Protist Group 12. I'm Gabe Garcia.
I'm Zach.
I'm Jocelyn. Forrest.
Fernando.
Fernando. And I am Mason.
Alrighty. So for the first slide we have is what are characteristics of protists. So in comparison to every other group of eukaryotes, protists have the most structural and functional diversity. Most protists live in aquatic environments and can use asexual or sexual reproduction. Protists are could be photoautotrophs, heterotrophs, or mixotrophs. Protists photoautotrophs are able to generate their own energy through photosynthesis. Protists that are heterotrophs ingest plants or organic substances from animals to absorb nutrients, and protists that are mixotrophs can use either photosynthesis or ingest organic materials to produce energy. Pathogenic protists, what they do is they'll enter the host and feed on nutrients within the host in order to grow and eventually reproduce. Pathogenic protists are also known to cause harmful diseases within the host. So for protists, we have 4 different clades. The 4 different clades are going to be excavata, the SAR clade, Archaea plastida, and Uniconta. And we'll go in depth on those. For excavata are asymmetrical organisms because their feeding grooves that they use to ingest food particles is only on one side of the organism. Excavata are also known for their cytoskeleton. Their cytoskeleton is normally composed of actin. Furthermore, it helps to provide structure for the cell, holding important organelles within place. Excavata includes the groups called diplomonads, parabacillids, and euglenozoans. Diplomonads are the most common parasitic excavata and are known for inhabiting anaerobic environments. Similarly, parabacillids also inhabit anaerobic environments and produce energy anaerobically. And then a unique characteristic of euglenozoans is that they have crystalline rods that are spiral shaped and located within their flagella that help them move. Next slide. Okay, so for the SAR clade includes stromatophiles, alveolates, and rhizaria. Stromatophiles have one flagella that has hairy extensions attached to it, while another flagella is just smooth. Both are responsible for the motility of the organism. Alveolates are known for the alveoli, which are enclosed sacs that contain like fluid. A subgroup of alveolates are called apicocomplexans, and they are known for being parasitic protists. The most common apicocomplexan is Plasmodium, which is something that will go on later in the slides. Apicocomplexans spread within the bloodstream of their hosts as sporozoites. And for rhizaria are known for their pseudopodia structures that assist them in engulfing their nutrients. Next slide. Okay. So for Archaea plastida include the subgroups red algae, green algae, and various land plants. The only parasitic protist within this clade is a parasitic red algae. However, unlike normal red algae, these parasitic protists lack the red pigmentation known as phycoerythrin. Next slide. And then for Uniconta have two subgroups called amoebozoans and Opisthocanta. The only parasitic protist within Uniconta is an amoebozoan called an entamoeba, and entamoebas are known to cause dysentery within vertebrates and invertebrates.
Okay, so what diseases do pathogenic protists cause? Pathogenic protists are responsible for causing several diseases that are seen in today's world. Some such examples are sleeping sickness, Chagas disease, malaria, trichomoniasis, and giardias. In sleeping sickness, people begin to experience symptoms like aching, joint pain, and fevers, and this will eventually worsen into confusion, lack of coordination, and possible changes in behavior as time goes on. Insomnia is also a notable side effect of sleeping sickness, and sleeping sickness overall is caused by the protist Trypanosoma brucei. Another one of our diseases is Chagas disease, and Chagas disease can be especially dangerous if it's left untreated. In early stages, it just deals with swelling, fever, and other common symptoms. However, if it's left untreated, it can lead to congestive heart failure or gastrointestinal issues. Chagas disease is caused by the protist Trypanosoma cruzi. Now, malaria, everybody knows about malaria. It's one of the more well-known illnesses, and it causes symptoms such as sweating, chills, and fever, and it can sometimes cause anemia and jaundice as well. So next up, we've got trichomoniasis, and trichomoniasis is an STD, and it works by passing along the T. vaginalis protist from one person to another. It causes symptoms like genital itching and painful urination in women. It can also affect the birth by leading to premature delivery in terms of pregnant women. And although it is more common in women, men can still get trich and they can still pass it on. So next up, we've got giardiasis. And giardiasis is a diarrheal disease, and as such, the symptoms are rather gross. They're fatigue, cramps, and diarrhea. Most cases of giardiasis, however, they clear up on their own within the time frame of like 2 to 6 weeks. And so those are all our diseases. Now, obviously, not all pathogenic protists are the same. Different types can cause different diseases. For example, malaria and giardiasis are two very different diseases caused by two different protists. However, the type of protist is not the only factor that causes a certain disease to occur. For example, sleeping sickness and Chagas disease are both a result of kinetoplastids in the genus Trypanosoma. However, they are completely different diseases. Information like the location of the protist and what kind of protist it is are incredibly important to know. Without this knowledge, it would be nearly impossible to provide proper, timely treatment. And we will address how these pathogenic protists spread diseases in further detail later on.
Next, we have some human transferred pathogenic protists, starting with Plasmodium species, which is also known as malaria. The carrier would be a mosquito, which causes infection within the red blood cells. In 2015, reached over 200 million cases worldwide. In the state of Michigan, being the most hotspot due to the mass swamps and lakes. As the mosquito causes lysis, which is rupturing of the outer cell wall, the blood cells then instill parasitic waste and it enters the bloodstream. Africa had the most death numbers, reaching over 400,000 in 2015. Next, we have trypanosomes, either known as the kissing bug or the tsetse fly. Prominent in Latin America and Africa, infected flies and bugs cause flagellated parasites to enter the bloodstream. Over 10,000 deaths in 2008, and this parasite leads to malnutrition and heart failure. Some human pathogen pathways, like how it enters into the immune system. So as the parasite enters the body, it is able to change shape as a healthy cell to not be targeted by the body's immune system. If the parasite lays eggs, which some of them do, it would be within the least patrolled immunity areas, such as the fat cells. Parasites can change their surface area to enter the immune system response proteins and disarm them to thrive within the body. And for the parasitic evolution, it allows for the parasite to either release a type of protein, as said before, that do not allow the body to recognize it, produce a decoy and interfere with the killer/helper cells, for that parasite. And lastly, the ability for the parasite to go camouflage and go dormant for the period of time before the activation of the immune system actually occurs.
So how they spread diseases. Giardia is commonly found in places with low sanitation and low access to clean drinking water. The microscopic parasite can contaminate human from the water or even food, and the most common form of transfer can be if a fly stood on infected feces. Then it will be considered to be contaminated and then have the ability to transfer the parasite onto food that is soon to be consumed. The parasite's most drastic effect on the host is by living within the host's small intestine lining, which won't allow for proper nutrition absorption and can therefore cause fatigue, fever, and diarrhea on the host. This parasite can survive for weeks or even months if not treated. The trypanosomes and plasmodium depend on a vector to deliver their sporocytes to spread diseases. The trypanosomes most commonly found form of disease is a sleeping sickness, which can be contracted from the kissing bug. Plasmodium is most commonly known disease is malaria, which can be carried through mosquitoes. All three of these parasites spread asexually and replicate in the host blood cells. However, the Anopheles is a genus of mosquito in which only 40 species are known to be able to carry diseases. They are most commonly found in warmer areas and specifically hang around water like rivers, ponds, and streams. They are dependent of two hosts to complete a full life cycle. Therefore, the mosquitoes are known to be the most common vector of most diseases like Zika virus, dengue, yellow fever, West Nile virus. The Plasmodium species are known to infect humans and are dependent of infecting a carrier that can transfer them into the host, such as humans. In mosquitoes, their saliva is colonized by the parasites protists and successfully infect the vector. Therefore, as soon as a mosquito comes in contact with the host, the sporocytes from the mosquito saliva enter the blood enter into the bloodstream and attack the liver. In there, they will replicate into mesocytes, which will then allow them into the bloodstream and replicate sexually, which will ultimately infect the entire host.
Types of pathogenic protists. There are many types of different species of pathogenic species. We often see infections as aggressive intruders that assault our bodies. However, pathogens and parasites, like all other organisms, are just attempting to survive and reproduce. It is probable that every living entity on Earth is susceptible to some kind of infection or parasitism, since parasitism is a highly desirable survival strategy. One of them is Plasmodium species, which is a single-cell parasite of the genus Plasmodium. The parasite is transmitted to humans most commonly through mosquito bites. Malaria was very common and devastating in north-central US, especially Michigan, with its hunter lakes and bogs. Before the Civil War and the clearance of numerous marshes, most immigrants to the Michigan had malaria, resulting in pale, swallow, sullen features. Before that, newcomers had the healthiest faces. The other type of pathogenic protein is trypanosoma, which is a flagellated endoparasite spread by tsetse flies in Africa. Similar flies in South America. It causes the deadly disease Negana in cattle, horses, and African sleeping sickness in people. Each time it infects a person, the trypanosome changes its thick layer of surface glycoproteins, which confuses the immune system. Types of pathogenic part 2. They are also affecting many plants. One of them known as the Omicide Phytophthora infestans, which is the main cause of potato late blight, which turns the stems and stalks of potatoes into black slime, widespread potato blight, which was caused by pea infestans, which is now what we know that led to the Irish famine in the 1800s. The famine killed about 1 million people and caused at least 1 million more to leave Ireland. The other type of pathogenic protist is several Bacillus species, which is a closely linked phylogeny that is linked with the Bacillus cereus group. The pathogenic potential of the group mostly extensively researched members B. anthracis, B. cereus, and B. thuringiensis, which is well established. For many strains, clear strengthening in the synthesis of virulence factors provide an easy way to identify species. The anthrax-causing organism is B. anthracis. Some B. cereus strains are often known to cause food poisoning, but other strains of the bacterium may also result in systemic illness as well as localized infection in the eyes, wounds, and nose. Environments of pathogenic protists. The human body thrives with pathogenic protists. Despite the fact that there are around 1,400 species of human pathogens, including viruses, bacteria, fungus, protozoa, existing just one of all microvirus species on Earth are caused by humans. Chlamydia are parasites that live within cells. These microorganisms might contribute to coronary heart disease and might cause pneumonia or urinary tract infections. Other infections come Salmonella, Listeria, Brucella, Mycobacterium, Nyctocardia, Listeria, Frascularia, Legionella, and Yersinia are all caused from bacterial pathogens. Animals have a lot of pathogenic protists, just like humans, and can be transmitted to humans as well. One example is leptorhyosis, which raccoons shed through their urine and secretions. Exposure to these excretions to open wounds or other can cause infections to humans. Another type of environment is soil. Numerous billions of bacteria might be found in a single gram of soil. There are an estimated 600,000 distinct kinds of protists, the most which have not yet been given names, and each has a unique function and task. The majority is in the top 10 centimeters of the soil, which contains organic stuff. Other pathogenic protists, formerly known as protozoa, that infect humans are single-cell organisms. There are the ones to blame for illnesses such as dysentery that are brought by waterborne protists resembling the common amoeba found in fresh ponds.
So from the strength of pathogenic protists, the intelligence of the unicellular organisms have proved to be able to thrive in medical advances, scientific breakthroughs, and food advances. So in medical advances, protists are used in medicine to help aid in digestion and break down food. Scientific advances have utilized protists to study chemical or cell chemical interaction and the signals utilized from the cells in the bloodstream. Food advances have typically only being used with algae extracts. So the algae is utilized in food as a thickening agent or the gelling agent, which is used to impart the viscosity of food and set thicker structure in the mix. In coral reefs, protists are known to create a symbiotic relationship with corals and ultimately become food for other animals or shelter for most of them.
And then here are our references for all the slides. And that should be the entire presentation.
Good job, guys.
Good
Ciao,
job.
y'all.
Thank you.
Let me figure out how to stop this recording here.